There's a truth that not many people will tell you directly. You can have a lot of money, a stable job, and a life that looks full and successful from the outside, and still feel empty, anxious, and stuck inside yourself. On the other hand, there are people who don't have much at all. No wealth, no status, no connections. But they walk through life with bright eyes, a calm inner peace, and an unshakable belief in the future. Why is that? Because the true feeling of being rich or poor has nothing to do with the number in your bank account. It has everything to do with your mindset, with the way you see the world, and how you talk to yourself in your quietest moments. Mindset doesn't show on the surface, but it silently guides every decision, every reaction, and every opportunity you either take or miss. You can live in a big house and still be filled with fear, self-doubt, and the constant feeling of not being enough. You can also be sleeping on an old mattress and still have a mind full of ideas, dreams, and a quiet confidence that says, I'm going further than this. So I want to ask you, gently and without judgment, what kind of mindset are you feeding every single day? Is it a mindset that shrinks you, makes you compare yourself to others, keeps you afraid of rejection, failure, or dreaming too big? Or is it a mindset that, even if still shaky, quietly whispers, I can learn this, I'm worth the chance, I'm not there yet, but I'm moving forward? A rich or poor mindset is not something you're born with. It's a habit, a pattern formed over time, shaped by your past, by the things you've seen, and the beliefs you were taught. But here's the good news. Your mindset is not your destiny. It can be changed. It can be rewritten. And this episode isn't about giving you a shortcut to success. It's about something deeper. It's about helping you look honestly at the way you've been thinking about yourself. Because once that changes, everything else starts to shift. The origin of a poor mindset. Have you ever wondered why you often doubt yourself, fear failure, and feel like life is a never-ending struggle? Many of us grew up with a poor mindset without even realizing it. Not because we aren't smart, hardworking, or full of dreams, but because we were raised in an environment where lack was normal. Our parents had to struggle just to make ends meet. They did everything they could to support the family, but in the process, they unknowingly passed down a silent message. Life is hard, money is scarce, and to get anything, you must work yourself to the bone. We were taught to be grateful for what we had, but not to dream beyond it. We learned to stay quiet instead of asking questions, to play it safe instead of taking risks, to endure instead of transform. These limiting beliefs took root deep in our minds, that we're not good enough, that we weren't born with advantages, that success belongs to someone else. But here's what I want you to remember. Mindset is not a life sentence. It's not something you're condemned to live with forever. It's a habit. And like any habit, it can be changed. You don't need to become a completely different person. You just need to start observing how you think. Every time you hear yourself say, I can't, try adding one word, yet. Every time you feel yourself backing away out of fear, ask yourself, is this the truth? Or is this just an old habit speaking for me? Transformation doesn't come from forcing fake positivity. It begins with the honest realization that your old mindset has protected you long enough. And now, it's time to learn to believe in something new. A rich mindset isn't just about money. It's about seeing yourself as someone who can learn, who can grow, and who deserves a life that's bigger than the one you were taught to settle for. The difference between a rich mindset and a poor mindset. Have you ever wondered why, with the same starting point, some people rise powerfully while others stay stuck in the same loop? The difference isn't in their circumstances, and it's not luck either. It lies in the most invisible yet powerful force: mindset. The way you think shapes the way you react, and your reactions shape your future. And here's the interesting part. Two people living side by side, doing the same work, can have completely opposite mindsets. A rich mindset is quiet. It doesn't need to shout or prove itself. It lives in curiosity, in the habit of asking the right questions at the right time. What can I learn from this? What am I not seeing yet? A rich mindset treats every failure as a lesson, every challenge as a training ground for resilience. It lives with the belief that there is always a way forward, even if it hasn't been found yet. In contrast, a poor mindset stays in defense mode. It often speaks up before you even try. I'm not good enough. I can't do that. People like me don't succeed. These statements sound reasonable, like they're protecting you from disappointment. But in truth, they're keeping you stuck, quietly holding you back from doors that might have opened, if only you had stepped forward. A poor mindset sees everything through the lens of risk, lack, and comparison. It tells you that you've already lost before you begin. Meanwhile, a rich mindset doesn't care where you are. It only cares where you're willing to go. A person with a rich mindset might be at rock bottom, but still asks, what's one small step I can take today? And that's the real turning point. Mindset is not something you inherit. It's a choice. It's the question you ask yourself in your own mind every day. Do you choose the question that fills you with fear, or the one that makes you more creative? Do you choose to believe in limits, or to believe that everything worth knowing can be learned? The mindset you choose today becomes the life you live tomorrow. The difference in how we respond to opportunity. Opportunities don't always show up with flashing lights. Sometimes they appear disguised as challenges, unexpected invitations, or uncertain next steps. And it's in those exact moments that your true mindset reveals itself. A person with a poor mindset often pulls away. They see the risk before they see the potential. They tell themselves, this isn't for me, or if I try, I'll probably fail, or it's safer not to take the chance. These thoughts may sound reasonable, even responsible, but in truth, it's fear doing the talking. And when you turn down an opportunity out of fear, you're also turning away from a stronger version of yourself waiting to be born. On the other hand, someone with a rich mindset doesn't pretend they're never afraid. They worry too. They feel the uncertainty. But instead of retreating, they ask, how can I make this work? What do I need to learn to get ready? Who can I ask for help to take the first step? They don't avoid problems. They face them with trust in their own ability to grow. A rich mindset isn't blind optimism. It's problem solving powered by belief. Belief that you can learn, that you can adapt, that you can start small and still move forward. And this belief is what has helped ordinary people do extraordinary things. Not because they were certain, but because they didn't let fear be their reason to stop. And you can begin the same way. The next time opportunity shows up, no matter how small, don't retreat. Ask yourself, what's one small step I could take toward it? Because sometimes one small step is all it takes to shift the entire direction of your life. Scarcity mindset versus abundance mindset. There's a way of thinking that quietly shapes many of your decisions, often without you even noticing. It's called the scarcity mindset. It whispers things like, there's not enough time, not enough money, not enough opportunities, not enough space for you to grow in this world. When you live with a scarcity mindset, you see life as a constant competition. If someone else succeeds, it must mean you're falling behind. If someone else is loved, you feel less worthy. You start fearing other people's talents instead of learning from them, because you believe resources are limited and you're always one step behind. Scarcity makes you defensive, jealous, and anxious that you'll never be good enough, fast enough, or smart enough. You stop sharing your ideas, afraid someone might steal them. You avoid learning new things because you fear failure. And slowly, you start shrinking your own world without even realizing it. In contrast, the abundance mindset is a quiet kind of power. It doesn't deny difficulty, but it believes that people can adapt, learn, and grow endlessly. A person with an abundance mindset doesn't ask, do I have enough? Instead, they ask, what's one small thing I can do today to move forward? Abundant thinking doesn't wait for everything to be perfect. It begins while things are still messy. It looks at others' success and thinks, great, I can learn from that. It's not afraid to share, to start over, or to grow slowly, because it believes there is always a way for those who keep walking. So the real question is, which mindset are you choosing today? A personal memory. Change begins with trusting yourself. I still remember those early days when I first thought about investing in myself. Nothing big, just buying a book, signing up for an online course, or taking time to truly listen to what I needed. But the moment that thought appeared, an old familiar voice in my head would whisper, what if it doesn't work? What if you're just wasting money? I kept hesitating, delaying, then eventually letting the idea go. Not because I didn't want to grow, but because deep down, I didn't believe I was worthy of investment. I thought other people were smart enough to deserve more learning. Others had potential worth investing in. But me? I still had too many flaws, too much doubt, too much fear. Until one day, I changed the question. I stopped asking, what if I fail? And started asking, what if this is the moment that changes my life? It was a simple shift, but it opened an entirely new world. Because for the first time, I allowed myself to believe that maybe one right idea, one right book, one right teacher could be a turning point. From that moment, I began investing. Just a little time, a little money, a little courage, and step by step, something magical started to happen. Not because I had all the answers, but because I chose to believe that I was worth growing. That's the core of a rich mindset. It's not about having lots of money. It's about believing you're worth investing in, with time, with patience, with love. So if today you're still unsure, still wondering whether to begin, try changing the question the way I did. What if this is the thing that transforms everything for me? And who knows? The answer might be closer than you think. You are allowed to want more. There's something many of us were never taught growing up. You are allowed to want more. More opportunities, more recognition, more love, more freedom, and more space to fully express who you are. Not because you're greedy, but because you have worth. You don't have to prove you deserve it by settling, sacrificing, or constantly being satisfied with less. Wanting more doesn't mean you're ungrateful for what you have. It simply means you're ready to step into a larger, clearer, truer version of yourself. And that is something to be honored. You don't need to wait for someone to give you permission. You don't need anyone to say, now it's your turn. You are the one who grants that permission. And that power doesn't come from your resume, your background, or someone else's approval. It comes from your own choice, right here, right now. So if there's a quiet voice inside you whispering, "I want more than this," don't silence it. Listen, because from that desire, you begin to shift. You begin to build. You begin to step out of what's familiar and into what's truly meant for you. You are allowed to dream bigger. You are allowed to begin again. You are allowed to follow what lights up your soul. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be certain. You just need to give yourself permission to begin. And the rest will unfold, one step at a time. 5 habits of a rich mindset. People with a rich mindset don't trade their time for temporary comfort. They value every hour as something non-refundable. They don't waste their energy on meaningless tasks, shallow conversations, or habits that slowly kill motivation. They understand that a wasted day isn't just lost time, it's a step backward on their journey of growth. They learn from everything. Every failure becomes a lesson. Every piece of criticism becomes a mirror. They don't fight against life. They observe and adapt. For them, life isn't something to complain about. It's an endless classroom where every experience comes with a message if you're willing to listen. They take action instead of waiting. When one door closes, they don't stop. They build a window. They don't ask, "Why is this so hard?" They ask, "What can I do with what I have right now?" That sense of resourcefulness creates turning points where others see dead ends. They set clear boundaries, not to push people away, but to protect their energy and focus. They know how to say no when needed without guilt, because they understand that saying no to what doesn't serve you is actually saying yes to what truly matters. And above all, they ask better questions. They stop asking things like, "Why do I always fail?" or "Is it even worth it?" Instead, they ask, "What can I learn from this? Who could guide me forward? What's the smallest first step I can take today?" These better questions don't just change the answers, they change the entire direction of their lives. People with a rich mindset don't only feel grateful when things go well. They treat gratitude as a daily habit, a powerful mental tool that keeps their mind grounded, calm, and clear. Because they understand gratitude isn't just a passive feeling, it's an active choice to see the value in what is, even if it's not yet what they hoped for. Even when their goals feel far away, when results haven't shown up yet, they can still smile and say, "I don't have everything yet, but I have enough to begin." And that feeling of being full from the inside out is the true foundation of wealth. It doesn't come from what you can count. It comes from how you choose to see yourself and your life. Gratitude protects them from the trap of lack. It keeps them from chasing what others have or measuring their worth by what's missing. It reminds them, having time to learn, health to try again, and a heart that still wants to grow. These are quiet gifts, and they matter deeply. When you live in gratitude, you don't stand still. You open yourself up to more. And when you can be grateful while you're still building, you are not just dreaming, you are powerful. You are strengthening the kind of mindset that stays steady, no matter the storms outside. That is the root of a rich life. Not just abundance in things, but abundance in thought, in spirit, and in perspective. The power of your inner story. What shapes your life isn't what others say about you, it's the quiet story you whisper to yourself every single day. The thoughts you repeat in your mind, no matter how small or subtle, eventually become the reality you live in. If you keep telling yourself, I'm not good enough, I always fail, or I'll never change, your mind will start to believe it, not because it's true, but because it's familiar. But here's the truth. Those stories are just words, and words can be rewritten. You are not trapped in old sentences. You simply need the courage to choose new ones, softer ones, braver ones that believe in possibility. Instead of saying, I can't do this, try saying, I'm learning how to do this. Instead of, I've never been good at that, try, I haven't mastered it yet. That one word yet opens a door to growth, to patience, to a different outcome. It doesn't take loud confidence, just a quiet belief that your inner story can change. And when you change that story, you're not just shifting your mindset, you're gently changing the direction of your entire life. You don't have to change everything in one day. You don't need a total transformation or a dramatic leap to start living differently. All you need is one small shift, a better question, a helpful habit, a kind sentence you say to yourself when you wake up tomorrow. Sometimes it's the smallest things that begin the biggest changes. A rich mindset doesn't suddenly appear when you hit a huge milestone. It begins with your daily choices, choosing to think differently, to respond with more courage, to treat yourself with quiet respect and belief. It starts gently, steadily, and deeply. And from there, it grows, like strong roots under everything you're building. Life will always have challenges. There will be moments when you feel behind, lost, or unsure of yourself. But as long as you keep choosing one thought that lifts you a little higher than yesterday, you're still moving forward. Because real strength isn't about speed. It's about consistency, taking small steps and refusing to stop. If something in today's podcast touched you, a thought, a feeling, a quiet shift, share it with someone you care about. You might be the reason they begin to change how they see themselves. And if this journey speaks to you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment to let me know where in the world you're listening from. Every time you do, you're not just supporting this channel, you're helping grow a global community of people who are learning to grow from the inside out. I'll see you in the next episode. And remember, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to keep going.